this is the right life, and I'm on it now. I was a bit off track for a while, here and there, not exactly knowing who I was. Now I think I know.
I've always known things about myself. I've just chosen to not recognize them and act on them. Like, I've always been aware of my faults. I didn't crave to want to feel great because I haven't felt the way I've been feeling recently and feel now in a very long time. Like, I feel whole again.
Social animals, they can't live alone. But you can live pretty well by yourself. I tell you, instead of feeling alone in a group, it's better to have real solitude all by yourself. So it doesn't matter if I'm there or not, right?
You were just afraid they'd abandon you. So you abandoned them. You distanced yourself from the whole thing.
thank you all so much for joining us on this Wednesday evening for another, hopefully exciting game of the city of Caelumvale. Thankfully we are all here once again, and we are ready pretty much to go ahead and I think get started. Do we have any announcements or anything like that? Changes to the schedule, anything coming up? I know I have one.
John's gonna be at Friday's game. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, we get the tried and true Clyde. 100% organic Catman coming this Friday.
We're gonna play on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then we are going to be playing.
We get 2 weeks of Sunday games and then skipping one after that.
Okie dokie.
We're playing this Sunday, or I'm confused.
We are playing Sunday, and we're playing next Sunday, then we're off on Sunday, and we're playing Sundays for the next 6 years.
Yep.
Basically.
Plus or minus.
Give or take, yeah.
Give or take. Más y menos.
We do not have a game next Wednesday on the 5th.
Okay.
Other things I need to do.
Okay. How dare you have a life and friends and family and responsibilities.
So other than that, let's see here. Now, when last we left our heroes, they had just managed to get themselves out of Onyxa on the flats, meeting up with Vool and Shepard and Nada, getting the cows a bit of ways away from town, though it seemed that Hesha was quite worried and anxious and perhaps anticipatory of, the people, the elves, that they had stolen this strange skull relic from a simple copper bowl and had some sort of barely legible writing etched into it. Vol seemed to take great caution after actually taking a look at it, and instructed the party to have their strongest and most durable person hold on to it and make sure that it gets into the hands of Virgil, the man who hired them for this job. Now, Yesha proposed the idea of perhaps pulling the cattle off to the side of the road, trying to set up an ambush to meet their presumptive pursuers, but Vul initially did not seem too keen on the idea, worried about the aspects of the wild font coming forth to attack them. If they pulled over too soon, he decided to press on through the rain further to a pretty decent camping off point. After establishing camp and getting the cattle taken care of, Vool, Nata, and Shepard elected to stay behind and keep watch and protect their charge, while leaving the party free to go back down the road and head off their pursuers. In a stroke of genius and well thought out planning, Hesha arranged things quite handedly with that encounter, placing some remaining flasks of oil along the road and setting up trusty Bama with his line of flame breath in a cataclysmic for the victims in this situation, engulfing two of them in flame immediately and quickly making short work of Bellerin and Eortis. Their pursuers were no more, but as they were taking stock for the few wounds that they had encountered, they were attacked by some feral Grothic, the results of foul experimentations by a magical cabal in Caelumvale. These wild ratmen are savages and, well, not really worth negotiating with, as they launched stone from slings and charged forth with crude, sharp implements. The party made relatively quick work of them, but got a few welts to remind them of their existence. Feeling rather proud of themselves and pretty capable, considering no one actually went down or anything of that nature, they quickly returned back to camp and had some smatterings of conversation, checking in with Nada, who was taking watch at the time, who was happy to see that they were all well, even though he received some less than pleasant greetings from certain members of the party. They quickly figured out who was going to be taking watches, with Hesha taking first watch, Ophelia taking second, Bomber taking third, and Cricket taking fourth. They quickly went to rest in anticipation of their next day of travel, which, well, I'm sure Hesha is hoping will be as interesting as their first. As that is where we left off with the city of Caelumvale. We come now to the campsite. We come now to First Watch.
She's just laying on her back, staring up at the sky, spitting, and just sort of fiddling with a coin in her finger. She seemed to have a spot of blood from those that are no longer living, that they met just recently. That's a big old grin on her face, and she's just enjoying the night air and the good, fast heartbeat within her chest, as this is the moment that she lives for. This is why she left that boring wall and joined up with such strange characters, because, well, what a better way to find the things that make life worth living. But for now, she's just sort of basking, listening out at the night, not paying a ton of attention. If something wants to snake up on them, so be it.
Alright, give me a perception check.
Alright. Perfectly average.
Decidedly average. The moon is no longer full. It was maybe about 3 days ago. You can see it begin to wane and get blocked by some, not too thick, but thick enough to be a problem, clouds. But, looking around with your astute eyes, seeing everything in the shades of gray that you often do, everything seems to be fine. Nothing seems to be amiss. Your ears catch no out-of-place movement. First watch come to an end.
She'll just hop up from her seat, laying down back against this log. Hop up to her feet. Ophelia! Ophelia!
Yeah, shit. Oh my god.
Oh, you're awake. It is your turn, my dear.
Okay, don't steal my sleepy bag.
I would never. Come now.
I don't believe you.
Good night. So I'll crawl inside and steal her sleeping bag.
Alright. You feel the calm night air of rather late summer, season's coming to an end. You know, the storm that you all traveled through was only the beginning of the Armada storm season. Things should be kicking up in terms of weather here soon, but for right now, it's calm, it's nice, there's a sort of peacefulness to this night.
So I take up a yard and I try to make a small shirt.
All right. You have a tool for that.
Yes I do.
All right. Give me a Neato Bandito roll for that. Are you trying to make it like thick? Or are you trying to make it quickly? What are you trying to do with this?
I don't really know how long like actual weaving takes, so like 2 hours worth of time. I don't know if that's quick.
Pretty quick. Yeah, you're trying to make a sweater?
No, just a shirt.
Just a shirt, a yarn shirt. Or a wool.
I'm just gonna like try to cat's cradle a shirt together.
Well, here. What I'm asking is, like, since you're making this shirt, which is perfectly fine, just, do you want anything to be special about the shirt at all? Okay, then give me that check with Constitution. Alright. Yeah, you have, I'm assuming you've done this before. You're just kind of working at it and you just don't really feel yourself getting tired. It's almost just an automatic process for you that you're just that you're just working through, and each motion isn't done with necessarily the peak of skill or with the efforts to ensure durability or anything like that, but it is quickly becoming serviceable. You feel like perhaps this is for a child or for an adult?
For a child.
You feel perhaps maybe 8 or 10-ish more hours of work, and you'd have a serviceable piece of clothing.
That's all I do. I really look around every once in a while.
Okay. Give me a perception check. Yeah, give me a perception check. Very nicely done. Focused on your work, but letting the fact that you're not trying to do anything too fancy with this, and just kind of feeling out the motions as you normally do, you can actually spend a bit more of your attention and your mind on what's going on around you. The small remaining embers of the campfire kind of giving a little bit of aid for the immediate surroundings, though. And, you'll vision also in shades of gray further beyond that. But nothing seems to be out of the ordinary. You think maybe you see like a fox running through from like one bush to another, maybe looking for a meal, but nothing untowards.
Excuse me, Mr. Red. Say, try to nudge Red awake.
Yes.
You're out to the accident. Do I still call you Red? You're still Red.
Oh, no, I mean, just when we're around other people, I would want them to know who I really am.
Maybe you should take the paint off. Is it permanent? Is that permanent paint? I feel like it's permanent
Oh, no, it's not perfect. But I mean, we've got to eventually bring these cows back into town. Someone might recognize some of these other, Thieves Guild folks. And, well, gotta keep an image.
Yes, that's true. Well, it's your turn. Alright, we're gonna go back to bed.
Sounds fantastic. I'm gonna wake up and eat this pig that's on a spigot here.
I take my bedroll. I just slowly slide it from under Hesha's body.
And that Hesha is between the gaps of your bedroll as you're trying to like move it. You realize she's just inside of it.
I forcibly try to shake her out of it, like.
You're just working at it and kind of just adjusting her unconscious self, and you kind of just move over to the side and kind of adjust the twine, and you can kind of just nudge her out of it. She's about halfway out.
I get the rest of the way out, roughly. She doesn't seem like she's gonna wake up anyways.
She sleeps soundly. And then Red, you're finding some well done is a stretch. Very, very cooked remnants of looks like probably Nada's hunting efforts. As some bits of rabbit are just kept warm over the remainder of this fire.
Ha ha! Just like Mother used to make.
Sinewy and overcooked.
Chow down on.
Alright. Night air is steadily getting cooler and cooler now. You can feel it's rather comfortable as you can be anyway. Not too many bugs bothering you. You can see decent ways, but not as far as some other members of this group. But everything seems to be relatively alright, as best you can tell. Give me a perception check.
Everything is fine.
I'm kind of just like looking around and kind of squinting at maybe some subtle motions in the distance and kind of feeling just like, oh, okay, those are just bird calls or birds fluttering around and stuff like that. And you kind of feel like on your frill going down the middle of your head onto your neck. You kind of just feel it kind of adjust and twitch just ever so slightly as something. It almost feels like if you had skin like normal, like human skin or whatever, it would feel like you're getting like goosebumps, like goose flesh on your back and neck. There's like something just feels a little weird. Maybe there's a cold chill, and then you just hear just the soft crackle of thunder, maybe about 10-15 feet behind you.
Oh, turn around!
You just see Cricket. What do you look like? How are you sleeping with these boxes?
I'm just sort of strewn up against them. I have like this new cloak wrapped around me, like a new blanket, so I look pretty good, except for my face, which I guess the way I'm hanging my head, my eyelids are kind of like half open, my mouth's just hanging agape. It's kind of like... So like everything from the neck down, can't see, looks pretty good. Everything from the neck up, not good.
That is one ugly goblin.
You just kind of like just look at him and you're just like, that can't be comfortable. And then you hear it again, just the soft crackle of thunder. And then with like a sort of sudden pop, something seems to spring into existence. maybe about 5 feet off the ground. It looks like it's just peering down at the sleeping cricket. This weird amalgamation of plant life and fungus and animal. It doesn't really make sense to even look at it. The eyes are perturbing and unnatural, and just as quickly as it appears, with another crackle of thunder, it's gone.
Alrighty. Nothing to see here.
Alright. And yeah, the rest of your watch passes relatively uneventful. Give me a constitution check. Yeah. The rabbit doesn't feel too good.
Just like Mother used to make.
But you wager with the rest of since you're thankfully not on last watch, you're kind of happy that you're not going to have to set off marching down the road. You have a couple hours to rest, and you figure you'll probably feel a lot better when you wake up. But it's kind of like just a little bit of bubble guts, that's all.
Good morning, Mr. Cricket!
Everyone else give me perception checks.
Disadvantage because we're unconscious?
Sure, yeah.
I was awake the whole time.
This tent is so comfortable. That roll.
Yeah, Ash, you barely even adjust yourself. You are just... Oh my god, is this a Barnes & Nobles? Where are we? You were just having the best dream.
Libraries! Limitless knowledge! Books!
Thank you for the gift card, Barnes & Noble!
Yeah, Ophelia and Hesha, you guys just kind of snap awake. Just immediately you can just hear Red's voice kind of carrying to you. But you're able to process the words and realize what he's saying. So what you do after that is up to you.
Ophelia, I think we're under attack. You must hurry.
I don't believe you. Why back to bed?
Buddy, you gotta learn a new way to wake people up. You can get punched in the jaw like that.
But you told me not to touch you.
Don't just be fucking quiet. I have big ears. You see these? You see these ears? They hear good.
I'm gonna grab one of the ears to look at.
Don't you
closer.
fucking touch me.
But you told me to look at the ears.
You look with your eyes, you don't look with your hands.
Well, I don't see so well in the night.
Oh, I like you, Bomber, but... I just kind of look past him and see the dog guy getting up.
Oh, good morning.
You just see dog guy is just like, kind of like, he just looks like half awake. He just has a short sword in his hand, just like looking around. And then he kind of puts everything together and just puts it away. What was that you waking him up so loud for?
Well, he seemed like he was, dead. He told me not to touch him, so I had to make sure I could wake him up.
And go back to bed, watchdog.
Alright. Trying to keep it down.
I'm gonna go behind these bushes and probably shit out the rabbit.
Okay.
I got an eye con check. What? What ran through me?
Kind of like look over Cricket. You realize like Nada doesn't go back into his tent. He's just kind of like sitting there, curled up against the tree, just kind of like looking off into the forest and seems to be peering into Shepard's tent and looking over through. He seems to be relatively startled still, and probably still unable to shake off how awake he is at the moment.
She's good for something, I guess. I'm gonna go over to the fire pit, kind of expecting to find some food, and probably none left. All gone.
Nope, and the fire is out also.
I do everything around here. I'm on cricket. Yeah, fine. Just put out the fire. Just go wake him up by screaming right in his face. Yeah, don't worry. Cricket will do all of it. As Cricket just starts going through some of his stuff, tired and angry. And in one hand, he starts pulling out this weird little twisted piece of. It looks like a mix of scrap and wood that's connected at this fork with this long strip of leather. As he pulls out his little slingshot, gets his sling bolts ready. And Cricket's gonna go out and, Cricket doesn't really hunt. Cricket just kind of scavenges. So he just looks for anything moving and, if he's not fast enough to catch it, he's got a trusty sling to knock it out. As Cricket's gonna go look for food. How am I feeling, by the way? Does my heart feel okay? My body shaking? What's going on after lightning?
I have like this sort of weird, sort of coppery, metallic taste in your mouth.
Was I eating the copper last night? Yeah, probably not.
Other than that, you seem to be relatively okay.
No, Cricket's tough. I'm gonna sort of step outside camp zone, go looking around for anything that might be moving, and try to fucking bash its head in, either with my fist or with like a rock, a little sling bullet. I'm going hunting, scavenging.
All right. How long are you gonna spend doing that, depending on how long it takes you?
Oh, dog's awake, so I'm gonna probably be gone for maybe like an hour or so.
All right.
Beach conversation.
Yeah, give me a survival check.
All right. Yeah. Back at it again with him now once, Cricket.
You spend a good 30 minutes kind of just like clumping through the plains around this place where you guys made camp. You can hear the sounds of like animals. You're not really sure all of what they all sound like, what they all are.
Dog, bigger dog, small dog.
Yeah, dog with wings, dog that hoots with
fucking
wings.
Dogs, I hate them.
And you're about 30 minutes or so go by. Nothing really seems to be staying in your line of sight, at least long enough for you to do anything about it. And then you relatively easily you hear, because it's not really trying to sneak up on you. You trying to get some food. You see the dog boy with his bow in his hand. I could get us some breakfast if you're hungry.
I don't want no food from you. Why aren't you back at camp? You're supposed to be watching it. Isn't that your job? You're a watchdog.
Well, Red is still having some issues when I came over this way, so I figured he'd be relatively awake considering everything. Plus, we're not too far from camp. It's right there. He just kind of points, like moves out of the way. You can see, it looks like he put down some extra wood on the fire, so it's a bit brighter. And you
oh God, how am I still going?
And you also hear that, I guess.
I can smell that from here. No. Well, I mean, between you and me, he's a great guy. I just don't think that bomber's too good in the mental faculty needs. Doesn't do all the thinking all so well. Not like me. I'm pretty good at that stuff. But wait, what am I talking about? Listen, I'm fine. I'm just getting food for Cricket. I don't need no charity. This is just a job. We ain't friends.
No, it's not really charity. I'm hungry too, but suit yourself. You don't want to eat good. That's fine.
Well, how good?
I mean, pretty good. I'm pretty good at hunting. What are you in the mood for? You ever had a duck?
The fuck's a duck?
Ever had a duck?
The fuck is a duck?
It's like a bird, but it like spends some time in water. It's weird. It doesn't really
Birds
swim.
don't spend time in water, they fly in the sky.
Most of them do, including ducks. But ducks also spend time in water, just on the top of water. They don't really like go swimming in water. But they're a lot of fun to hunt because they're just so like they travel in groups, so it's easy to get a few of them with not too many arrows.
That just don't make no sense to me.
Never had duck. You have to try. You have to try duck. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I guess it's not. It's a bird, right? Not a dog.
It's not a dog. Why would it?
All right. No, nothing.
Dog.
Just fine. Go. Oh. Just go get a duck. I'll just go back and watch camp, I guess. I'll do someone's job. As I just begrudgingly walk off as you're like.
Oh, yes. Just like Mother always made.
As I walk back to camp and just sort of sit down and just wait to be fed, I guess.
About 15 minutes later, your nose is kind of assaulted by whatever it is Red's been dealing with. But
Smells like home.
The fire is kind of helping clear that out, but then from behind you can kind of sort of smell smells like a little bit of wet dog as you can hear Nada coming up back from 3 ducks.
That one's got a stupid looking head.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll prepare them. You might get a little bit more wood.
I guess. I just get up and go out and go find some more firewood.
Convenient stack of wood.
Stacking on my tiny arms, but I'm strong, so I just got one big old stack in each arm. Just
Your whole body is just kind of rocking with it with each step.
And I just sort of just throw all of it haphazardly just onto the fire at once.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. And you can see
That's how you get the wood. You get all that once. Burns biggest, burns brightest.
Sounds familiar. Have I heard that somewhere before?
Probably. I just said it.
Somebody else say that.
I don't know. I don't remember everything everyone ever told me. You ask a lot of dumb questions. I'm just gonna watch him cook very intently.
See, he's like just plucking these ducks clean really quickly. There seems to be some evidence to Nada being a pretty good survivalist. He seems to know what he's doing when it comes to hunting and preparing whatever these strange-looking birds are. Some of the feathers are getting kind of caught in some soft, nighttime air. They kind of blow over towards you. And it'd be easy to notice that they have a sort of slickness to them. Just looking at them, they don't look like normal feathers. They seem to have like a sort of glossiness to them. Like they might have like oil on them or something. But other than that, he gets them prepped up pretty quickly.
Cooking them wrong.
Seems to get them on to some spits and just starts rotisserieing them, but kind of takes them off just a bit too early.
You're doing it too wrong. I take mine immediately back, stick it back on, and I start roasting it because Cricket knows a little bit about cooking. As I give it a very careful eye, because you see, living in the dregs, you might find a rat or something, you know, some good meat, maybe someone throw out some trash. You gotta make sure it's good eats. You gotta make sure you cook out all the bad stuff and have only the good stuff. I mean, not taste the best, but Cricket knows how to cook something of a healthy meal. Albeit, you know, with the bloodshot eyes and the raspy voice and really just general dehydration and the bad cough and just a lot of things going on with Cricket right now. We haven't brought it to the surface yet. Cricket knows how to make a pretty good meal.
Yeah, give me a cook utensils check with wisdom.
Oh, I'm okay. Let's see. Nat 1, not bad. Nat 2.
You're kind of rotisserieing them just like you would, you know, a rat. These are a bit heavier, a bit thicker, different consistency of meat. Never really cooked duck before, but you kind of just, your experience leads you to take them off before they get burnt. You recognize, you know, the skin turning the golden brown that belies that they should be good to go. And yeah, they're all right. Nothing's too special. You think you probably could have done just fine if you hunted something yourself, but less work for you, I guess.
I guess so. And as soon as I think it's done, I'm just gonna take a huge heaping bite out of it just to taste it, without even like letting it cool. Just grabbing it with my bare hands.
Hot duck.
Oh, that's greasy.
Yeah, it is. As Nada just takes some and helps himself to about half.
Not bad. Not bad.
A lot more than turkey.
The fuck's a turkey?
How do you not know what a turkey is?
I live in the dregs, boy. I don't like the birds I see are the ones that hit the ceiling and fall down. They're like little gray ones. Is that what they call them?
Yeah,
I just call them meats.
Like do the little coos.
Mm-hmm. And they fly around and they don't taste too good and they're always full of worms. But you know what? They work. These birds are fat. People feeding them. Gosh, greasy.
Nada just like takes out it looks like some sort of strange like bottle of like a sort of blackish red liquid and just kind of pours it onto the duck and then just kind of just almost not as messily and noisily as you, but just seems to dig right in after adding that sauce. Like looks over at you and he's like his mouth full and it looks like maybe he's smiling with his mouth full. And he just kind of hands the bottle over to you if you want it.
I don't like it when dogs smile at me. So I just kind of take over the bottle, look it over, give it a sniff. It's poison.
And you just see him shake his head. Just chew it.
I just drink it.
Yeah, I mean, it tastes sweet, and then sour, and then a little salty. But good. It's a weird combination of flavors.
Okay, what kind of food is this? Because this just tastes like flavor. Is this duck? Is this turkey?
No, it's sauce. Just put it on the meat. Try it.
I say you sauce. I ain't even fucking hammered yet. I start pouring it over the meat and just mindlessly eating the rest of it, just taking piece by piece.
whatever this weird sort of orange red sauce is seems to really kind of brighten up the flavors of this duck. Sort of, it doesn't cut the greasiness of it, but it tastes a lot better.
That wasn't too. Okay, that was pretty good, I gotta say.
Yeah. My sister back in Caelumvale runs a restaurant just towards the top of the turn. Always has like the weirdest ideas for sauces and flavors, but it always tastes really good.
She owns your restaurant. It's pretty good. She must make good money.
She does all right for herself, I think. You know, if you ever have some extra dosh on you,
Extra dosh.
tell her Nada sent you.
Buddy, I live in the dregs. I don't got extra dosh. Every penny goes to something. Look at me. I'm living on scraps right here. Wait, you kind of catch yourself in the middle of talking. Yeah. I'm living on scraps.
But you're a pennyman of the Thieves Guild. You're just getting started. And considering who it is that's giving you this job, I heard from Vool, it was Virgil. You'll be coming into your own soon enough.
What does that mean?
Virgil's ambitious. I think he has a lot of things, well, perhaps in mind. Things he wants to achieve. Sort of the ambitions of young blood and all that.
So money?
Power.
Money. Oh, I like power. Not as much as money, but power's still good. I start wiping my hands on my clothes. Just after all the food's gone.
You're just finding that like after like the first couple of wipes, the same front of this shirt just isn't taking any more grease, and so you think you have to flip the shirt over to get to the back side and put the grease on that side.
Just like let my long black withered tongue like wrap around my fingers, wiping on my sideburns.
See that for later.
Just get all the stuff I can off me.
What time is it now? Is it time to get up?
It's getting close. You can see not so much the sun cresting over the mountains. That doesn't happen until about 10 or so. But the sky turning just the soft yellow and orange that it does as it begins to rise.
You know, Dog Man, I think I may have had you pegged wrong. Thought you was a piece of shit, what, with you being a dog and all, and a lot of dogs always try to kill Cricket. But you're alright.
Issues with canids in the city?
Not just dogs, with your ears and your teeth. Down in the dregs sometimes, people don't always take care of the animals. And when a little goblin's walking around by himself and there's a hungry dog, well, there ain't much stopping them. And I kind of like pull back some of my what's rest of my sleeves, and you can see every so often along Cricket's body, these little tiny scars like puncture marks here and there, like little bites. I've had a lot of run-ins with dogs in my time. Someone let in a wolf once. I'd have put my fist straight through his eyes.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I find that, most of my folk, most canids anyway, are pretty cheery and kind. I don't know. You don't think I'm a piece of shit, I guess.
Exactly. You are not a piece of shit. That's what you are not.
Oh, somebody say piece of shit.
Oh, yes, speak of the devil. Red.
Dragon.
I'll tell you what. Whew. I wouldn't go over by that bush.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Alrighty, it's time to get up. We gotta get moving and stuff, and I'm tired of sitting on my ass. And I reach into my mess kit and pull out my pot and my spoon. So tonk, 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 and just start raising the alarm. Wakey, 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 tonk, tonk, tonk.
Why can you be allowed to wake people up and I can't?
Well,
Because
I
I'm
think
fucking
we are
crazy.
certainly under attack now. You should go save them.
Cricket.
Ophelia, attack!
Oh, is that duck I smell?
I feel like if there was an attack, I'd be a lot more worried.
No, I am very worried. I am so weak. I cannot defend myself. And it is so loud. Listen, oh, someone surely is dying.
Wakey, wakey.
I don't think anyone's dying. I think Cricket's just trying to wake everyone up.
But they need your help. Maybe you need your help to wake them up. Oh,
Cricket's already awake. Clearly, you're the only one that needs to wake up.
you're too clever for your own
Closer and closer to the tent. Tang, tang, tang.
It is very loud. Oh,
It is
Why do you
loud.
like
I
this?
am up. I am up.
What?
I'm
Esha,
awake.
I'm banging this pot and this spoon, Esha.
Although, Cricket, Ophelia will not wake. I think she needs some more bangs in her face. Go get her.
I'll get her.
Cricket out of the lake.
Morning, everyone.
I start banging in front of her face a couple times.
Good morning!
Good morning.
Is that dark?
It is indeed.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Ash just drowsily just sits on the log, and then he sort of has his eyes closed, trying to recollect his thoughts of being
Asher, is he
awake.
sleeping?
I get the pot spoon right over Ash's head.
Please don't.
I
think
do.
he is awake.
I do.
Or he is in... Well... Maybe something from, well...
Why?
Wake up!
The lung didn't really open my eyes.
A bit greasy, no?
It's very greasy.
Really greasy.
Isn't that what you want? That's where the flavor comes from.
Exactly.
If you say so. I am no gourmand myself. Did everyone sleep just wonderfully? In a very, well, mundane night?
I sure did.
Wonderful.
Takes a swig from his water skin. I'm gonna wake up the other two. Oh, they're already here.
I think
fantastic.
everyone's awake.
On account of my pot banging.
Up and ready to go.
We roll hit dice, Hesha?
Oh yeah, we're doing hit dice things.
Mm-hmm.
Let me roll my hit dice.
I noticed that fucking bar refill.
Yeah.
As Ash just finishes down the last of his water.
Although
Is there a river nearby?
I couldn't have rolled low enough to not get all my health back.
It was a river back there. I was walking by one when we smashed those guys' heads in.
How dawn is it? Is it like the sun's morning glory is like peeking over the crest, or is it like still red?
Well, interestingly enough, the God's Peak Mountains are to the east, and so the sun is rising, but those mountains that keep it from getting... so you always have a late dawn in this section of the world, and It's, the sky is relatively lit up, but you don't have any actual, like, straight-on sunlight just yet.
So it's dim?
I mean, you'd be able to find your way easily enough.
Alright, I'm gonna go freshen up a bit. I'll be back.
We say, oh, don't. Even better.
Heads over to the Plummet River. Go clean himself up before the start of the day.
Yep. Apply soap and perfume, because I don't have prestidigitation.
How do people do this for a living? As I'm going to go over to the pile of eaten duck, I'm just going to take a big old leg bone with me, stick in my bag.
Alright. Boom.
Ah.
Still intact, full of marrow.
Mmm.
So, Master Fool, what is the order for the day? Are we simply marching? Or do you have any more stops along the way? Any more little errands for us?
It seems pretty obvious that Vool's not too much of a morning person. And he just seems to have just resting bitch face. He doesn't look too happy. Yeah, we're just going as far as we can today. We gotta make sure the cattle get something to eat, and hopefully everything goes smoothly.
Very well.
Give them some duck.
I'm sure we all wish for everything to go nothing but smooth.
Shepard just kind of like looks over at you, Hesha. His antennas kind of just like twitching on the air. I'm sure all of us wish for that.
Of course.
He goes to start getting some of the cattle ready, and Vool seems to be finding morning relief in a flask. But as some time passes, maybe about 30 to 40-ish minutes or so, you find Ash coming back, now clean. His hair seems to be unmatted, and he looks rather presentable and ready to go, as all the cows and everyone else is as well.
Are we ready?
I believe so. We are.
Alright, let's go.
Let's keep the same order as we had the other day. I'll keep an eye on them from the back. Shepard, Nota, keep them reined in on the sides. And the hired muscle, well, hopefully we won't need you.
Of course.
Aye, sir.
Of course.
As you will arrange yourselves and start your way.
Thieves Guild formation.
Oh, Sonido!
Take the form of Triceratops.
Where's his health bar?
It's right there. I see it.
I don't see no health bar.
I see a health bar.
There it is.
But I'll make sure I don't step in the shit when I walk around the bush.
Done.
Yeah! You did it!
I was about to hit you with the deck save.
Mm-hmm. Woo!
Do 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 do.
So where do they hide these things again on the cows?
I think it is under the fur. I'm just obviously digging through the fur of one of the things.
Yeah, you kind of remember they're supposed to be maybe on the underside. And like you just kind of like part some of the fur. It's thick, it's unwieldy, like you see like this sort of glint of a shard nestled within.
Be careful you're grabbing, Hesha.
This is fine. Oh, it is very pretty. Does it look like maybe just like one shard per animal?
Yeah,
how big are they?
They seem to be pretty sizable. No, they're pretty big pieces of crystal. They are, you wouldn't know this per se in character, but they are pretty big, but surprisingly light for their size. And the ones tied up seem to be like of a dull yellowish color.
Is there 5 cows or 6 cows?
Should be 6.
Like how big are these cows? How big are these cows?
About cow sized, maybe like they're like they're about the size of a big Texas steer. Same big horns. They just have this thick layer of fur.
Hey, Cricket!
Ah!
Do you want to ride one of these things?
Can I?
I don't see why not.
That's a fair point. I'm gonna try grabbing on the fur and start climbing up. Yeah.
I'm gonna help him up.
Like hear some initial protest from the cows you're climbing up on top of, but you're so light that it's quickly brushed off. As you all seem to be at the front of this group, so there's no one to tell you to not get on top of them. And
that's the law.
You can kind of see off to your left and a little ways back atop a horse, Shepherd just kind of like looking on and looking at you, or maybe something beyond you. I don't know, but he doesn't seem to voice any protest about it. So
look at you! You're like one of those knights.
I am?
Riding off on your faithful steed.
I shall call you faithful. And I just get whoosh, smack the back of this cow.
It just seems to just kind of take a couple of sudden steps forward and kind of jerk forward a little bit. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
All right.
Yeehaw!
Yeah, you kind of feel your whole body kind of like lurch forward, but you're kind of interwoven with the fur at this point. Just kind of having your hands up on it, it quickly latches onto your greased self, and you'll be able to keep yourself on there.
Sticky fingers. They call me Cricket, but I stick to you like a tick.
As I'm just riding this big old cow.
I'm gonna settle up next to Red. Oh, mon cher Rouge, ask a question.
I mean, like, it's still Bomber. I've just put paint on.
Of course.
About some guy named Rouge.
I understand. So, should I call you Bomber then?
Well, I mean, when we get closer to town, probably stay with the alter ego. Got some appearances to keep up.
Very well. I was wondering, back there, after your wonderful performance, you did something that was quite clever. How do you come about such a thing? Covering up such a scene? I was impressed.
Well,
I liked it.
You know, from time to time, you gotta make things look a certain way in a fire. That way you can sneak away with an item or two, make a couple extra coins. Oh, looks like it went up in flames, but just went up in your pocketbook.
Ah. A man to take advantage of a situation? That's like it.
Well, I mean, most of those nobles need a good lesson or two.
Cool. What is it for them to gather such things, if not for someone to come and take them?
So what's your story?
Well,
No, you.
I'm sorry, of course. I am effervescent, although I was not born to such a name. I actually come from topside. I think I'd said that before. I'm simply a girl looking to live where the action is. The dregs were entertaining for quite some time, but, well, I'm sure you know, you can only go so far in such a place as Caelumvale, and when you have no coin to your name. I seem to have stumbled upon the opportunity that we find ourselves in now, finding one of our compatriots. Not here. Well, I don't even really know his name. Never actually got to meet the chap. But I stumbled upon his hunting grounds of sorts, and ended up finding myself within the grasp of the dwarf. It is a wonderful experience so far. You must know they have such amazing toys.
Alrighty then. So, like, you like to fight or something?
It is simply a search for excitement. Don't you think so? When you find yourself at a scene of sorts, find something shiny hidden within the rubble, do you not get a rush of sorts when you scurry it away?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say a rush. I just feel vindicated.
Well, there you go. I am simply chasing such a feeling. The things that make one feel alive. Boredom is something that could drive me insane. And so I run away from it.
Huh. Well, I mean, excitement is fun and all, but I mean, what I've noticed is each person has a little bit of a different definition when it comes to what excites them.
Of course. I do not want to belittle those who will live on a farm and watch their potatoes grow day after day. It is simply not the life for me. And certainly not something I will settle with. I would rather die.
Well, I mean, let's hope it doesn't have to come to that anytime soon.
But of course. What of you, barman? You say you take such things. Did you do that after you joined the 12, or is that how you got into such a game?
Oh no, I've been doing that for quite some time now. All kind of started with one of those dirty bastards. Got a little crazy one night, and well, you see, my sister's a pretty talented bard. I mean, maybe you've heard of her, Fiona Kettlescale. She's been known to lighten up an inn or two, and well, I mean, one of those damn nobles got drunk, started throwing shit around the bar and the inn, and well, caught my sister right in the eye. Took it right out.
No.
Of course, and do you think that noble even spent a minute in a cell? Hell no. Big old Daddy Warbucks came in, bribed the guards, and walked away scot-free.
Ah. So, this man, do you seek something from him? Maybe a plot or scheme?
I mean, I don't need to kill anybody, but let's just say there was a mysterious fire there not too long afterwards. Maybe a family heirloom went missing, maybe not, who knows? Fires are weird things when it comes to the Palisade. Sometimes they just seem to pop up out of nowhere.
I love it. I think we will be fast friends, Bomber.
Well, I mean, I think we could be best friends. I don't know what a bass friend is.
I'm sorry, this is my accent. Fast. Like quick.
Oh, you mean fast.
Indeed.
There's a T in there. You do have a unique way of saying things, but that's alright.
It is a way of changing who I once was, getting away of the girl upon the wall with nothing to do.
Oh, so that's not how you normally talk. It's like when I talk like Red. A little bit of a misdirection.
Maybe. I like to think of it as, well, yes, as you say, as red, as you paint yourself in a different color.
That's almost poetic.
I like to think so. I am a lover of music, but I am afraid I do not visit many of the more expensive establishments, and I have not been in the directs for long. I don't think I know of your sister, but I would love to hear her if she still performs.
Well, maybe we'll have to line up a show at some point.
Wonderful. Well, I will leave you now, Master Beaumont. Check on the others. Although I hope something else will be involved in this also long trip home.
I'm sure we'll be fine. I mean, after all, worst case scenario, Cricket gets crushed by a cow, and everything works its way out.
That will be anything to see. Spread amongst the group and just have some small talk after that.
Alright. Pushing forward, getting closer and closer towards home. It's getting to about midday or so when you hear a sort of deep, as deep as one could be anyway, whistle kind of come from the back of the group as Vul seems to be signaling for attention and seems to be pointing out what looks like a sort of what's the word? Like a copse? I think it's a copse? A group, a sort of assortment of trees and it looks like green grass and things like that, directing Shepherd. A what?
A murder of trees, obviously.
A murder of trees. No,
I mean, a grove.
It's a copse. I don't know how to say it. A copse?
A corpse?
Yeah, a copse. It's called a copse.
Like an item.
Yeah, a copse. A small group of trees, a thicket. Yeah, so pointing out a copse of trees, it's like trying to direct the herd over so that they can graze over there, and Shepherd and Nada kind of steer the steers off the road and over towards the copse. As Cricket seems you're still on top of one. Yeah, you're just like, yeah.
Go! Left!
Alright. They seem to kind of make their way between the trees over towards the grass. And most of them seem to start eating. You kind of feel the one that you're on, Cricket, kind of kind of try to shake you a little bit. Seems not too comfortable with you on it anymore.
I just finish wiping off my still sticky hands on his fur, and I get down.
Okay.
Oh, come on, Cricket. You can make it look cooler than that. Give it a good jump and a spin.
What? No. Why would I be
Please
jumping on
don't
that?
break your neck.
I'm not putting on a show. My ass is tired. Fucking leave me alone.
I just carefully get back on my feet, try to get feeling in my legs.
Oh, did you eat some of that rabbit, too?
We had a rabbit?
Oh, that's okay. That's how we grab it. Oh.
I think it was the meals that they were eating before we arrived from our little hunt of sorts.
That was a long time ago. You didn't have any of that, did you?
Oh, I ate some just like Mother used to make.
You're the one who ate all the food?
I mean, I didn't eat all the food. There was still... I mean, I was on the third watch after all. I figured everyone else had ate.
Cricket didn't eat.
What are you talking about? When I woke back up, you were chowing down on a duck.
Yeah, because that guy over there got some.
Do you mean Nana?
Yeah.
Wait, he has a name.
That guy over there.
It's not a...
You look over and you just see like Nada sees you guys looking at him, and you just see like from behind the saddle, like his tail just starts wagging and he just waves at you guys.
I wave right back.
Just like that haphazard, just moving your hand, not really moving your arm sort of wave.
Wait, Cricket, you not like Nada?
Wrist wave? Ugh.
Yeah,
He's all right.
But it's like more slower. It's not as happy. Yeah, it's like a little bit slower than Brendan, little bit. Yeah, just high. I guess widow.
I mean, you seem to have a bit of animosity towards the young lad.
I just don't like dogs, alright?
Wait, why don't you like dogs? You more of
They
a cat
bite
person.
and they eat. Well, cats is fine. Cats is all about, they taste good, so, cats alone. Dogs. Dogs
well,
bite you back.
Well, then why don't you just stab them?
I usually do, but I feel, I feel like if I did that, I wouldn't get paid.
No, not
wait, Hesha. If I stab him, when I get
don't
paid.
stab Nada. Has Nada bitten you?
No.
You don't stab a dog that hasn't bit you.
Cricket, there is only one thing.
Cricket, please, for the love of our paycheck and the cohesiveness of this group, do not stab Nadia.
I mean, I thought he got you duck after all.
Okay, he said the biggest word, so I'm gonna go with him.
What, big check?
Oh, cohesion?
Yeah, whatever the hell that means.
Right?
Heard of coercion.
Listen, I just
Not
don't
like
do
that.
much with
You mean like
dogs.
co, as in together, and hesion, to stay?
Oh, so we're gonna stay together.
Yeah,
What are you
for
doing?
the staying together of the group, please don't stab the dog.
Okay.
And our paycheck.
And the paycheck, the monies.
I feel like they're like having this sort of conversation. What are you doing?
Staring at them in disbelief.
Yeah, you can kind of sort of hear with your relatively sharp ears the sounds of like the cows kind of plodding around. The whatever grass they're standing on seems to be pretty thick and like wet, almost kind of marsh-like. You notice they kind of proceeded a bit deeper in, but then just a little bit past the conversation, a bit more towards the road, you can see Shepard just seems to look kind of tense as best as that can be discerned. His movement seems to be a bit more forceful and purposeful. He seems to be moving in, like, not necessarily jerky movements, but just like he's sort of pacing. You can see just like his antenna just seem to kind of go over towards where the cows are, and then back in front of himself is just something. He seems anxious about something.
Move ahead of the group and look a couple steps behind him. Are you okay? Is everything alright? Nothing to worry about, right?
You can just hear him kind of like muttering under his breath in perhaps his native tongue. It just sounds kind of like gibberish. And then he kind of takes notice of you coming up behind him, and he just sort of kind of whips around and then like looks at you. Strangeness, wildness. I can feel it. We need to get these cows back on the road. I need to talk to Wool. As he seems to move over and past you, and then over towards the dwarf, who seems to be just kind of like, he seems to be kind of leaning up against just not a fence, but like maybe just the remains of a fence. Like someone tried to fence the road at some point, and that effort just completely failed, and he's just leaning up against the remnants of it. He seems to be like lighting up a pipe, trying to enjoy, I guess, the break. And as Shepard is making his way over towards Vool, you all can quite clearly hear it sounds like the sort of panicked mooing and braying of these cows past the trees, as something is obviously not okay.
I'll
Cows are singing.
Running towards the cows.
Go.
Is there something attacking the cows? Oh,
I'm
poor
not
darling.
sure.
Say your prayers. Cast mage armor on myself. Dark wispiness surrounding my clothing, and then sort of disappearing. Still translucent.
I'm coming, faithful.
Wonderful. I'm gonna start skipping after the group.
Yep,
I know whiplash my heavy crossbow.
Skipping.
making your way through the trees, you can feel your feet kind of plop into the, not necessarily mud, but just this sort of just this wetness. The rains were pretty heavy, so I guess this place is pretty soaked. And as you're making your way through the trees, you can kind of sort of see some of the cows are like not running, but just moving as quickly as they can through the trees back over towards the road. And it's like 1, 2, 3, and then you can hear just the sound of thunder, but far too close to the ground, too close to
That
you.
sounds like that thing that almost ate Cricket last night.
Wait, what?
As the
Let's
fourth
go!
cow seems to run straight towards Bomber and Cricket. Both of you give me dex saves. Bomber, you're able to sidestep this cow just in time. Cricket, you see it coming, and you're just like, oh, you kind of almost have to throw yourself out of the way as you just land prone, kind of getting a bit of dirt on yourself, and not looking, particularly too cool. But who's watching?
Everyone.
Cricket, I think you fell down there.
Get it from the mud.
Watch out for the cows.
They seem to be quite spooked.
As you come across a scene most foul, getting up and
Most dear.
beyond a large thicket, you see the two remaining cattle seeming to be engaged with some sort of horrific-looking plant monsters. One seems to struggle around a tentacle that's wrapped around its leg, and the other is nearly engulfed by a mass of these not quite plants, but not quite animals.
God, I'm sorry.
Yes. see. Give me 1 second.
Oh, look at these things.
That's the thing that was in that camp last day and the night.
That's the thing that almost ate Cricket last night.
It doesn't quite look
what?
like that. As this is what you see as you all burst through the thicket onto the scene.
Yeah. Oh, nope.
No, that's not.
No, it's a little, you know, I got a voice from a distance, but now that I'm sitting closer to it, it's a little, no.
Yep, looking at these horrifying looking, see, booyah, these awful looking, just fected and, like, for lack of a better word, almost cancerous or tumor-covered looking things. They look like just a horrible amalgamation of plant, fungus, and flesh. And just given this sort of tentacle form, they seem to be pulling onto these remaining cows, trying to drag them back deeper into the forest, or almost it seems like towards into the ground. As one of them seems to struggle quite heavily, and the other one seems to only have one tentacle in it, but it's keeping it from getting away. As let's roll initiative. Clear initiative.
Loves the vibes.
Well, there's my 17. Been looking for you all night.
Got him.
When you love the wilds, but the wilds don't love you.
Looking at this,
Silence is falling.
Looking at this,
Move the fuck off me, plant thing!
More cool, bro.
Looking at this scene, there seems to be, just to, like, you know when you look at like asphalt and it is just hot and it's distorting the air, looking at it in the distance of like heat waves, it just looks like those heat waves are kind of just emanating from the ground in this area, as there seems to be something obviously just up with these things existing here and everything that's going on. As let me sort initiative. Cricket, you kind of stumbled there for a bit, but you dusted yourself off. You're at the top of initiative. You see these awful things, not ripping and tearing, but just so much as dragging and crushing onto these cows. The cows not so much important, but the crystals underneath their fur, very valuable. What do you do?
Well, first thing I'm gonna be doing is staring right at these cows and just running in here. So we go 5 and we go 10. Just running. I'm coming.
The marsh seeming to swallow up your feet as you realize, oh god, the muck is everywhere and it is hard to move through.
Try and take a step back. I like half of my body being covered in mud. Oh, this is fucking bullshit. Cricket's gonna take a last bit of movement. See there, taking a few steps back as he reaches out and pulls out his trusty sling. Okay, Cricket, okay. Stretch it back with a little slingshot, and I'm gonna fire at disadvantage on this guy. Let's see. And sling. Oh.
Nice. The shot, this thing seems almost completely just focused on the cow, and its fleshy plant-like matter does not resist your sling bullet basically at all. You see him to just right through this thing. If you were looking on the other side, it would almost seem like you would see like a small bump or bulge on the other side where your sling bullet passed through, as you do a decent amount of damage to it as well.
These things is fucking big! And that's my turn. Blair green, Blair red.
His tentacles seem to pull
I like that.
and crush onto things, the ground beneath them seeming to give way and almost open up as this cow seems to start getting pulled into it.
I will remember you.
And let's see here. This one just seems to hide almost on the ground, seemingly connected to the marsh beneath it, as it begins to pull this cow in as well by itself.
Have to pay respect.
Mm-hmm.
As Ash, you see whatever this is unfolding before you. What do you do?
Well, do the only thing I can do. Hold up my hand and let the magic circle appear again, sort of around my palm and tips of my fingertips, as I'll send out an Eldritch Blast.
Get him! Use your magic!
Yeah, which one?
Got him. Got him. The same one that Cricket hit.
Yep. You're trying not to maybe not hit the cow, or trying to just like line up a shot on the same tentacle. They all seem to be writhing and moving and pulling and pushing against this thing. Your shot lands true, but you only seem to scorch the top side of this thing with your magic.
Protect the cow! Oh, and that one too. So he sort of points in that direction.
These cows are, at least the top one is pretty close to being swallowed into the earth, and with it, the valuable crystal as well. Belia, what do you do?
Start running along the side of the mostly dry land that we have, and I'm gonna like pull out my shield and aim it at the tentacles as the crest on it begins to glow, and then the glow spreads across the rest of the shield and then shoots out in a large light as a guiding bolt and terribly miss.
Well, it's because you already ruined your best shot.
Yep, you're this kind of the haze that seems to be almost over this place, kind of throwing off your aim a bit. You're trying to not, I guess, maybe not trying to hit the cow, and you just lurch forward and throw your holy shield of light towards this thing, and just as you think, oh fuck, I missed, you can see as like just a small gash is cut through on the back of this thing. It does not seem to be armored or protecting itself at all. It just seems to be a thick vine that is trying to consume this cow as you do hit.
I'll do the bottom one, by the way. I'll play with that one.
Jeez. That gunball damage.
As that thin line seems to open up on the back of it, you realize there's like this thick, like reddish sap just sort of dripping forward, and you can see that the other two tentacles behind it kind of adjust and push down on the cow, and the tentacle that you just slashed seems to get pushed down with it as there's just a horrific snap, and just a fountain of this red sap just shoots forth into the sky as this tentacle just seems to just start flailing and release the cow, and then just sort of sink down into the ground and lose itself as it just seems to completely die.
You got him!
Wonderful, Ophelia!
Fountain of red, no one's lying.
Bleh.
Bleh.
That was disgusting. I liked it.
Ophelia blushes. Lol.
I will run over there and... Well, wait. Let me see here. Can I shoot it this way?
Do what?
My breath weapon. I'd hit him, right? It's 5 feet wide.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Burn! Ooh.
Max damage!
I know!
Thick gout of flame leaping forth from your maw towards this writhing tentacle. Does not make his save.
Woo!
It seems like the flesh and weird sort of pulsy, pussy components of this thing do not burn as easily as perhaps true plant, but it is horrifically scorched and burning in sections from the damage you've inflicted upon it. As Hesha.
A moose jump.
No.
End of your turn, Red. Ash, Hesha, Cricket, Ophelia, you hear something most unsettling between all of you.
Sexual tension, I understand.
Oh no.
See and feel just... You almost feel invigorated where you're standing. Like each breath has a sort of a life to it, and you can hear the rumble of thunder. It seems like off in the distance, but also right in front of your faces, as seemingly almost popping into existence.
Oh, there's a thing! There's a thing! Oh god, there's more than them!
Hello, my friends.
Fuck.
I'm glad I went down this way.
Almost adorable looking polyps just spawn into existence in front of you. Feel scrape against your minds, something that seems to go beyond the physical, and you hear what almost sounds like infinite nails on infinite chalkboards just grating against the fabric of life itself in your head as Cricket and Ash and Hesha, you just kind of feel this assault in your mind's eye, but I need a... I actually need this an int. Yeah, int save totally. Yep, that's the thing.
Please. Please.
Plex blocks.
Merciful. Generous, benevolent, God.
Strength save.
Nope. I actually need
Con
a
save.
defense roll.
Driver. Oh, okay, we fucked up. It's okay, Hesha, we died again.
Wonderful.
Yeah, as you kind of like just see these things kind of spawn into existence, and the sound seem to grate against your ears. You can almost see what looks like the same kind of ripple that exists over where all of the tentacles are, almost kind of shoot towards you and into your mind, as you kind of just have to shield yourself away from it and try to keep yourself safe as best you can. Hesha and Ash, it is a bit too much. Overwhelming no defenses as 6 and 5. So, Ash, you take 6 psychic damage. And Hesha, you take 5.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I just
That's not an exaggeration.
Because Cricket's mind is always overwhelmed.
This is not what I expected.
Things just continue to sort of just float in the air like weird sort of green clouds, the soft tendrils seeming to move in sudden jerky motions. Hesha, I guess trying to shake off the now pounding headache. What do you do?
Pulling away my heavy crossbow one arm, pulling out the... It's quite enough of you! As I will stab out at the one off to my right. Actually, I'm going to stab the one up in the middle of all of us. So we're surrounding it. I know it doesn't do anything. That's what you would do. As magic seems to flow out through the blade as I cut upwards to my left. So I'm assuming I'm facing the cow. 15 hit.
Into this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, 15 will definitely hit.
Hold my crossbow to one side, pull out the dagger, infuse it with magic, and jam it into the face of this thing. And it's quite enough! Do 5 damage.
Alright, give me a d6 roll. Right. Yeah, as your knife plunges into this thing, you can feel it just start to shake furiously against your hand as you just kind of like wrench it free. This thing almost just seems to collapse in on itself, and you hear the rumble of thunder again as
Like a balloon. Adorable.
Uh-oh.
this tentacle just seems to grow out of the ground in the place of where this thing was and just seems to thrash violently.
A seed for so much death. Wonderful. That's my turn.
Cricket. This weird sort of... I guess it was kind of peaceful the first time you saw it, but now it seems to be attacking your allies, and Hesha killed it and it exploded or collapsed, or I don't know, there's just a tentacle in your face now. What do you do?
I'd be looking at all this, but instinct would immediately drive me to recognize the thing that's been apparently haunting me for the last couple of days, and I would want to really kill it. So I go to the closest one and just immediately just try to throw my head first into it, trying to headbutt it. Still holding my little sling in my hand as I... Nope.
Womp womp womp.
I'm assuming that's a no.
Poor Cricket. He's like averaging 3 on his D20.
The 7 will not do it, as it just seems to sort of like float like a hot air balloon just kind of away from your swing.
Yep, and then probably swing again at it. Just trying to fucking kill this thing, just swinging a punch at it. Hey! Nope.
Got him!
As your
Thrashing
first,
around at this thing.
yeah, your first swing
fucking
misses. The second swing, it just seems to kind of just float a little bit higher in the air and just out of your reach for a second, as you aren't able to connect your, you're pretty good at hitting
not rolling
things.
with like a D4 instead of a D20.
It's been a night. That's my time.
All right. As the cows continue to get pulled into the ground, this one up to the north seems to be maybe a few moments away from being consumed into the earth. As the one that you have, you're trying to get the damn thing off of here, Bomber, seems to be a bit further out of the ground, but definitely in danger of getting pulled in rather quickly. As the newly spawned thrashing tentacle seems to lash out at you, Cricket, just tentacle flying out at you, trying to smack you in the face.
Defense roll. Alright.
Smack you in the face it does, just hitting you right across, it checks you in the face.
D4 is rolling.
Give me a strength
So
save.
bad.
Hey.
Stumble back, maybe taking a step or two, keeping yourself from getting knocked down to the ground with the force of this thing. But you do take bludgeoning damage.
Catching my face, rubbing. Oh, you're next, buddy.
Ash, you have had some long nights between piles and piles of books, your eyes going red and tired, but nothing has quite hurt your mind like this. Kind of reeling back from it now, seeing two of these things still floating here, and the cow is still getting pulled into the earth. What do you do?
What could possibly go wrong? I guess I'll disengage. And how do I create some distance? Not like full back, but trying to swipe at the mental tentacles. So I just fend myself as I try to backtrack. 30 feet. And that'll be my turn. Trying to cover some distance, gain some distance so I can get some breathing room to shoot without being hindered. That'll be my turn.
Julia. These weird fleshy polyps just kind of floating in the air, seeming to cause agony to your allies. One of them seeming to just die and then spawn forth a smaller version of these large tentacles trying to consume the cow. What do you do?
I will create the fire around my shield and just kind of plop it down on this guy.
Big old guiding bolt, Sacred Flame, that's right. Alright, let's see here. Yeah, just seems to be fully concerned with hitting Cricket in the face. Your Sacred Flame connects very soundly, as it just seems like kind of just gets scorched along its back by this radiant damage. Rather still pretty solid.
That's it.
Right. Red, there is some chaos going on to the north, but you have a target in your mind, something you're fixed to. What do you do?
Miss.
kind of winding up with your battle axe, like, all right, just chop it down, chop it open like any other door, and you kind of feel maybe like a soft shift in the grass as your leg just kind of slides in the wetness of the earth around this area. But your muscle memory is good. Your follow through is good enough as you connect quite soundly. How do you want to do this?
Nice.
Fucking George Washington, baby, cutting down the cherry tree. Timber!
Yeah, and just your axe connects with it, and it just seems to go like release the cow and just go rigid, and then you can hear a chop inside of it, and you can just feel it give way as it splits open and dies.
Come on, Mr. Cow, get on out of there. So that'll be my turn, because that's all my movement.
Coming back over to you now, Hesha.
This is quite a predicament. We don't mind me, boys. Whoop! As I am just going to spin around a bit as I just flail my crossbow out in front of myself, trying to make some distance as I'm just going to disengage away from these things, pushing past Ophelia and getting back around to the other side. As a bonus action, I will start to infuse my dagger with magic once again.
Alright.
Just a little more. Oh, poor cow, you must fend for yourself. Why did those other three keep though?
As we come now to the top of initiative, you can hear a rustle in the thicket to your left. Cricket, Hesha, and Ophelia.
Jambush.
Fred comes forth, seeming to have a sort of odd orange-red glow on his hands, wielding some sort of magic.
Hello. Your beast is in trouble.
But Cricket, you're in the middle of combat. Everything's focused on you. You're trying to punch this thing down. What do?
I'm still trying to punch this tiny little thing that's been following us down to the ground. So I was gonna punch at this guy.
Yep. Fucking G-force.
It's still swinging her.
And then your second slam just kind of smacks into the side of it, and you can feel your hand almost seem to just almost sort of bounce off of its weird, spongy, fungus-ish body. It seems to be almost kind of like punching a punching bag.
Oh, that kind of feels good, but I'm really angry right now. It's my turn.
Just a bit too shy to do enough damage to it. These two tentacles continue their process of wrapping up this cow and pulling it into the earth. You can see the last bits of its red fur seemingly disappear beneath the ground.
Oh, poor thing.
With it
Do you want to create poison ivy villains? Because that's how you create poison ivy villains.
cow is free.
I saved my cow! Come on, Bessie.
Dash. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Slap it on the ass.
Whatcha?
Good game.
Way to be a team player.
As Shepard seems to manifest a sort of orange-red flame in his hands and just seems to almost lob it forth over towards the other two tentacles that seem to be consuming and pulling in the cow. As they need to make a dex save.
This is where the fireball comes.
Seemingly focused in on pulling in this thing, giving no caution or attention to the magics thrown at them. Shepard's Sacred Flame connects soundly for a whopping 2 damage.
Woo! Woo! Oh no!
Ophelia, what do you do?
Take my base and I try to smash this guy right next to us.
Hey, smash him. That'll definitely hit. It's small, but it is thick and meaty to it. It is not something so easily put down, but it's each blow connects with it quite easily and damages it rather heavily, as this thing seems to have only a bit of life left to it. In red, one tentacle down, one cow freed, one cow seemingly lost to the earth. What do you do?
Yep. I go. And I'm gonna run even faster. So I run over there. So I dash.
Running around the thick marsh, trying to do the best that you can with the situation you're presented with. You go to the other side of the clearing. Coming back over to you.
I stab down into this thing with my glowing dagger, with my slight purplish magic, seeming to leak off the end of it, trying to just jam up into its strange grabbing mouth, the end of it. So I try to just pulse the magic through it. Ooh.
Ooh. Connects perfectly.
Doing 8 damage.
8 damage. How do you want to do this?
Just jab it, almost like sticking my hand all the way into this thing in the front of it as I just twist the knife and pull it out as quick as I can. As you can just see the magic diffuse within it and almost explode off the end as its head basically just pops off the neck. Well, be careful with these things, crickets. But let me take my attention to the big ones. Red may need some help, as I will pull my crossbow back up, still in my other hand, as I pull out a bolt and start to infuse it with magic. As I just take a half step back. That's my turn.
Alright, Cricket, this weird sort of fungus, plant, animal, hot air balloon thing has just been dodging and absorbing your blows, and it seems to turn its attention towards you. What do you do?
If I just keep trying to punch it, it'll die!
As I keep trying to punch it.
And Cricket cries!
As I'm just swinging both my fists furiously through the air. Just trying to land something on this thing.
The second one will connect. You can feel your second blow connect, and just, you can feel something sort of give way. 7 damage. Give me a d6.
Huh?
Yeah, 7 damage. All right, so yeah, you can see this thing just kind of fold in, and then you can hear once again the rumble of thunder. It just seems to start growing and swelling against your fist as you kind of pull it back, and you can see its wound seems to almost heal a little bit as it just turns this darker green where you punched it like a sort of horrid, fecid bruise. Look at you even more. Just.
Oh, I just made more room for punching. This is my turn.
Nice. As this cow is consumed, you can see the tentacles sort of pop themselves back up from the earth itself and sort of like just kind of twitch and look around, seemingly without eyes, but just sort of sensing the life nearby as they sort of move across the earth towards gliding ever so sickeningly, but not able to move very far.
He said, come to me, you marvelous things.
This one dashing across, trying to cross more distance. It's going to move a little bit south.
Monkeys.
As you can see, this tentacle seems to be sliding and wriggling its way across the ground, trying to maybe move towards you, maybe move towards Red. Its intentions unclear. All you know is that it's dangerous. What do you do? You run behind Shepard.
Hi, Shepard. As I sort of like peek out from behind him and shoot out at the very big thing that didn't die apparently. As the same magic circle. Now my left hand. The blackish purplish magic circle as a beam of capricious energy sort of shoots out from it.
Some good words tonight.
Good
cohesion.
Capricious. Jordan said a word I've never heard of before a second ago. Good stuff.
Seems I can only coin flip my damage roll. Didn't want to.
As you seem to take away almost a fourth of this creature's fleshy green wriggling mass. What did I say?
I don't even remember.
Well,
I just remember commenting on it to myself. You're like, ah!
Coming out of Shepard. As you run up behind and towards him, Shepard kind of turns, and you can see this orange-red glow that just seems to sort of engulf his hand as he just reaches out and puts his hand, two of his hands, on your shoulder, and also on, like, it seems like just your side, as you can feel a sort of pulse of energy sort of surge through you, Ash.
6 tall. No.
Seven health.
Ooh. Oh, I love Shepard. No homo.
God.
That's
Stream's
gay.
canceled.
You can miss me.
Service violated. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah.
The views expressed by some of our players do not constitute the views of the whole for this stream.
You're right. You're right. My bad. My headache gone. Turn to Shepard and Thanks, buddy.
Don't worry about it. As it seems like, as the magic seems to pull back to him now, as he readies a spell towards the weird floating polyps in front of you. As Ophelia, a tentacle smashed behind you, but now it seems the large one surging its way across the marsh towards you. What do you do?
The guiding bolt, the bigger thing now.
Alright, readying your golden shield and
Hey, not guiding bolt, sacred flame.
readying. What's the difference between your sacred flame and the guiding bolt besides the damage rolls?
Slightly bigger shield.
Well, the guiding bolt is like the fire around the shield that I shoot out as like an actual like disc of fire. And the guiding bolt is like the entire shield goes alight. It's like just like an energy beam.
Guiding bolt is like an actual like laser coming off the shield, and sacred flame is the chuck, like Captain America holy disc Beyblade thing.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right. As Ophelia chucks forth her holy Beyblade at the wild font tentacle. Let's see. Sort of wriggling and writhing, and as this thing seems to threaten to almost cut it in half, it just seems to snake down towards the ground away from it as it continues to move towards you. In red, your target moving into the middle of this marsh. What do you do?
Boop, boop. And
As you step there, seemingly from the air itself,
hello, Mr. Greatman.
tentacles sort of
Aren't you a
flying toward you.
funny sight?
Red feels the comedy of the situation, the predicament, letting himself just enjoy the whole situation and shrug off most blows that would put down weaker men. Into a rage.
Oh yeah.
See these sort of waves and contortions begin to manifest themselves quite largely around the large polyp floating in front of you, Cricket, and then sort of smaller waves of, it seems like, this weird life energy kind of shoot out towards Cricket, Ophelia, and Red. I need defense rolls as your mind is assaulted by just the presence of this place.
Nope.
Weird creatures. As Cricket's getting hit by the big boy. So that's
No means no.
+4.
Hope it's a 1.
Remember Cricket.
As Cricket takes 6 psychic damage.
As I go down.
All around me are familiar faces.
The large balloon
places.
whelming Cricket's mind, just kind of as his eyes roll back and he just drifts off into unconsciousness. Your friend goes down. But the rest of you able to fend off this weird psychic assault on your minds. Hasha, what do you do?
Ophelia, can I leave a good little friend to you?
I can get it back up.
Take a knee, aim my crossbow, and fire at this big old tentacle man sliming its way across the battlefield at us. It's not gonna do it.
Argo! Damn you, D4s!
I'm deaful as I just take a step back as I pull out another bolt and start to fuse it with magic once again.
step back, you hear once again as the branches and leaves move out of the way. And trusty Nada comes through.
Hello. Such a wonderful evening.
Blasted wild font. Alright. He seems to string up his. Oh god, no, that's the main page of Roll20. Jesus Christ. Okay, there we go. String up an arrow and ready himself for combat.
Kaboom!
Tentacle moves even closer.
Skip Cricket's turn.
Oh, did I? My apologies. Give me a death saving.
See if I die.
Yeah, see that nat 1 on the death save.
16.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Not dead yet.
He isn't.
Not today. He's only mostly dead.
As Melanie says, oh no, cricket. Oh no, cricket! And this tentacle moves over towards Red now. As one, the north one seems to try to wrap itself around Ophelia's legs, trying to pull her into this weird marsh and crush her ability to get away, as the other one seems to try to slam down onto your back and onto your shoulder, Red, as I need defense rolls from both of you. Bomber able to fend off this thing's blow. You can't help but laugh at the situation. But Ophelia seems to ignore your chain armor and your shield as well, as it seems to wrap itself around your legs, and you can feel it sort of begin to twist and pull against your limbs, as you can feel like your ankle kind of just kind of get crushed beneath the weight of this as it tries to bring you down to the ground as well. I need a strength save. You take 5 bludgeoning damage. And you are knocked prone.
Oh, Ophelia.
Ash. This... Well... What are you gonna do, friend?
I don't know, it's real head scratch for what we're gonna do. Oh, fuck! Oh no!
Yeah!
Oh no!
As you're scratching your head, you accidentally shoot an Elvis Blaster.
Finally did it.
There it is.
His study of magic. He knows not to misfire his Eldritch Blast.
Alright. Second chance.
Stop!
Okay. We prevented the nat 1. Saving face.
All according to plan.
All according to plan.
I mean, Bomber's kicking ass, I'm just saying. Carrying the fucking team over here.
Thanks, Space Barbarian.
As Nada aims his short bow at the tentacle that seems to be wrapping itself around Ophelia. The 13 to hit, that'll do it for 5 damage.
Wonderful
This
show.
thing is still, it seems to be oozing lots of this red fluid from it, but still pulling on Ophelia. Not grappled or anything like that, it's just flavor. As we come now to Shepard, seems to move through, sensing the flow of this situation, stepping over and through the tentacles,
Look at the
manifesting
Ant-Man
this
go.
orange-red magic and reaching out to Cricket pull away whatever it is that has clouded his mind. Gain 8 health.
Punches!
Shepard, you are just in time.
If we run back to the road, we can get away from this wild font. One of the cows has already gotten back.
Very well.
But Red is like the Red elephant already.
He kind of just like looks over at his feelers, also turn over towards Red. So be it. He seems to manifest some more magic now, turning his attention to the large floating thing in front of him.
Wait, so what are the orders? Are we retreating or not retreating?
I think our friend Red is in a bit of a spot. We shall take care of these things.
Punches!
See? Cricket is still, well, not so much up, but raring to go.
Just swinging my fist in the air and on my back.
Yep.
I'll stand up for a thing.
Definitely hit. You can not. Yep. How do you want to do this?
Something like the mouth. I don't know what that is.
You can see like just horrid vines inside of its mouth, attempting to like lash out and grab onto you as your mace swings true, and it just seems to split from top to bottom as just red just starts oozing out and it shrivels down to the ground.
Right there for now.
And you have this tentacle and this weird looking green thing. What are you gonna do?
Oh, wrong button. I'm swinging at the tentacle boy.
Swing at the tentacle. Whoosh! Swings true and connects soundly. You see him to almost cut this thing in half.
8 damage. That'll be my turn.
The flow of battle and your successes as you're cutting through these horrid, just these dangerous growths from the earth itself. You can feel this force just pull on your mind again. Horrid sound of nails on chalkboard just echoing through your mind as it seems to assault your senses. Give me a defense roll. Yeah, just barely able to kind of keep this horrid sound, the sound of your own laughter.
My sister practice.
Oh God. Keeping your senses clear, you're able to fend off this chaotic shriek in your head. As the big duder is going to target, seeing dismissing the small thing on the ground that last it checked was already dead. It seems to turn its attention towards Hesha.
Well, hello.
As it seems to assault your mind with this horrid shriek. Give me a defense roll.
Hold my fucking it. I do not like this.
Seems to start to overwhelm your mind. As you take 5 psychic damage.
Still barely conscious. Just blood start running out of my nose.
And the last one seems to turn its attention to Shepard. here. Shoot him. And rolling that one. Classic. Alright, cool.
Get crit.
I just rolled it like a normal attack for him. I'm gonna fucking
They don't do defense stuff.
He shrieked himself.
As Hesha, you're able to blink through the pain and just, oh god. Oh. What do you do?
I start to well up. Something to be experienced. Time and time again. As I will once again whirl around. You're such a large thing. Let's see if you pop like the others. As I will let loose my heavy crossbow, the glowing bolt. Ooh. 7 damage.
Perfect.
Shooting square in the middle of this thing, right over Cricket. Just trying to get it right in between the eyes, seeing if these things will pop.
Yep, and it just sort of seems to drift lower to the ground, and then just your infused magic seems to course through. What color is it, by the way?
Like a slight purplish mist.
Okay. This sort of purplish mist seems to just kind of spread throughout this thing coming from the bolt, and just seems to form these horrible, like, just mars across its body as it seems to grow these cracks, purple lines spreading throughout, and it just pops and vanishes. Pieces of green flesh seeming to feather down towards the ground like a popped balloon.
Basically the color if you would picture the pyrotechnics of a Prince concert.
Purple rain, purple rain.
Cricket, you can see this thing just pop, and you're coming back to consciousness. Shepard is next to you. Your fists are swinging through the air almost automatically. What do you do?
I get up on my fucking little feet. Everything's almost dead. You! I just run over to this guy, still standing. Punches!
Fucking A!
2 out of 6. Not bad.
He will definitely connect. Pop and give me a d6.
As an ancient red dragon becomes part of the forest.
Yeah, you keep coming back, I'm gonna keep punching you.
Your fist connects. You can feel the energy from your punch almost seem to just kind of transfer into this thing as it just seems to swell and swell and swell in size, getting larger and larger. It pops. And Cricket and Ophelia, give me dex saves.
Right.
The force of life itself seems to spread out and explode from this thing, threatening to bruise and batter your body and throw you away from it. If you make your saves, able to weather and get out of the way of this poof from it, you guys take 0, none of the bludgeoning damage. Nicely done.
Popped it.
Wonderfully done, Cricket.
Indeed.
Oh, Red, how do you fare?
As he's
Better than me.
As he's laughing, this tentacle seems to almost kind of pull back and roll itself up into almost like a weird sort of green cinnamon roll as it seems to wind up and then whoosh, whip out, trying to hit you in the gut. Able to fend off its blow with no issues, dodging out of the way and kind of keeping it at bay with your axe. Ash. Everything on your side of this whole situation seems to be taken care of, but Red seems to be dancing between his tentacle and one of the last remaining polyps. What do you do?
There it is.
The tentacle or the big booter? Or the polyp?
I was muted!
You there?
Yeah, you're muted.
I was muted. No. The tentacle. Yeah.
He's like, this one.
Aiming it at the tentacle, you can conjure forth your purple circle, right? Purple?
Yeah. Purplish magic circle.
Oh, the purples.
As the beam shoots forth from it, connecting soundly as it seems to be pulling back to try to aim up another strike at this thing, your beam just cuts right through it, and the head just, or the mouth section, the clampy bit, just seems to fall away from it as it shrivels up and dies.
So I shake my hand. That was a bit too much.
Nada looks to you, Hesha, seeming to just have, like, blood coming out of your nose, just wincing in pain, tears going out of your eyes. It's just, oh, God. And he seems to just kind of...
What are you doing?
reach through some of his own... one of his pockets and seems to shake up this vial and hands it to you. Yeah, drink. Stop the bleeding. As he seems to aim up another shot towards the polyp, but using his action to give you a basic health potion.
Bleeding, what are you... Oh! Thank you.
Yes. And Shepard conjures forth a small burst of red-orange fire and lobs it towards the spawn polyp. But with a sort of unnatural deftness, this thing just seems to jerk out of the way at the last second, getting away from Shepard's sacred flame, as it comes now to Ophelia.
Sacred flame it.
With your yellow-orange Beyblade, let's see if he can do it again.
Beyblades, go!
He rolls a 3 minus 1 for a natural 2. This thing just seems to get torn to pieces. Give me a d6.
Oh no, disappeared. Ancient Red Dragon! We will be best friends.
As the energy
My
from
God, I've been trapped in there forever.
the energy from your sacred flame courses through this thing, and it seems to just get split open, releasing forth a torrent of energy
Candy
into your face. Red, give me a dex save. Ooh. Kind of caught off guard by the pop of this thing. You take a whopping 6 bludgeoning damage as you're battered with the force of life itself, as it seems to just wash over you and hit you in the face. But
So 3?
yes, I'm not calculating the resistances for you. That's for you to do.
Well, I didn't know if you already did or not.
Oh, it's right there. There's a 6 right there. You see the
Well,
line?
I didn't see it for a while.
Well, okay then. As it finally seems, life seems to stop moving, and the shimmer over the marsh seems to fade bit by bit away.
Just don't mind if I do. Bottoms up. My potion.
Can I use this log to like go into here if it's still difficult terrain, or if I'm still getting money all over the place?
I'll look at this thing.
It's difficult terrain. It's just like this. There's just moss and stuff growing all thickly through here, so like you're kind of like getting stuck on some bits and pieces as you're trying to move through, I guess, the log.
I try to like I don't know, put my hand through the area and I see if there's any like trace of the cow.
You're just finding what looks like soft, muddy, wet earth. There doesn't appear to be a tunnel or a pathway, it just seems to have been pulled into the ground itself.
Is there, like, what is this thing? Like, is there anything on it? Is there, like, a stomach? Is there, like...
To be a fleshy plant tentacle with these horrid growths on it. And as they die, they seem to almost kind of detach themselves from the ground, and so it just looks like a noodle.
Well, I'm gonna cut it open to see what's inside.
Okay. And it's 2d4 plus 2 for a health potion.
Nice.
Ooh, winning.
Ooh.
So much better. Thank you, my friend.
Of course. It is a shame that we lost one of the cows. Trying to get the other ones to get back together and get them back off the back onto the road. They seem to sprint past all of us on back over towards the river. Hopefully he's wrangled them all back up now. We came back over as soon as we could. And give me a D20 roll, John.
Ooh. Oh.
Okay.
Suspense.
Yeah, you're kind of like cutting open this thing and trying to like get past all of like the big tumors and just awful whatever the fuck these growths are. And inside, not just really anything of note. It seems like there's just a whole bunch of like small animals in here, just a mixture, just in various states of not, I guess, digestion or absorption. It doesn't look like they're being broken down. It looks like they're being just pulled into the inside of the tentacle, like there's just the corpse of a rabbit that just seems to be half rabbit, half tentacle flesh, and it's just attached to the interior wall of this thing. And then you keep just going through and just like, oh god, and you see what looks like a small, like maybe like a woman's hand.
Ooh.
Woman's hand.
Oh, is there anything on the hand?
Yeah, it actually looks like there's a small gold ring on the hand.
Oh, I'm gonna like just cut the ring off.
Oh no, a fire!
Lights a torch and just scorches a little bit. Oh no!
Yeah, taking off the ring, it kind of feels weird. Maybe it's like the slime on it or something. As you're holding on to it, you can see there's just it's just a solid gold ring with a single gemstone on the top of it. And it sort of seems to twinkle with a sort of like a rainbow-esque color. It seems to almost sort of, every time you kind of adjust it, it just seems to be a slightly different color. And then do you actually put it on?
I will. Yeah, I'll try it on. Bomber will try it on.
Thank you.
All right. What is Bomber's favorite color?
Ooh. Fuck, you know, I haven't elaborated that much. Shit.
Silver. Fuck! Damn it! You don't ask me to send you, Jordan, goddammit!
Yeah, I know. I don't. Gold. It'll be gold.
Like
Fire.
As you slide on the ring, you notice the gold of the band seems to shift to just is that platinum or silver or just it seems to shift to this bright polished gray metal, and then the stone on top just settles to a bright golden yellow. Have a silver and yellow stoned ring that it almost seems to take on the inclinations of the wearer. It seemed like it definitely wasn't a silver band when you put it on, but now it is.
All right, I'm gonna and cut that one open.
All right, while you see Red kind of making his way between these tentacles, sort of like splitting them open lengthwise and chopping off the bits and pieces, trying to, I don't know what you don't really know what he's doing, just looking through them, I guess. What are the rest of you doing? Ophelia, you find no pathway to the cow. It seems to be gone.
What are you doing? Call to Red.
Such an amazing creature.
And Shepard just kind of turns to you. This one's also dead. Let me put an X on it. Sorry.
Cricket's just looking at I'm assuming the deflated corpse of this big thing.
Oh my God, Brendan, you and your drawn X's. I swear to God, this is how you cause confusion. Just kind of like walks over to the remnants of this secondary spawned tentacle. These dangerous growths are spread haphazardly about the besieged cliffs. Fonts, masses of viral life.
They are quite troublesome. Those are extraordinary.
So what are these things then? As I pick up again, is it like a deflated balloon corpse, or what are these big things?
The big one, it seemed to have popped into a bunch of pieces, but if you grab on just like the biggest chunk, or you pick them all up, you can kind of just flap it, and it like when you flap it, it almost, if you could imagine if somebody made a blanket out of leaves, that's basically what it feels like.
Cricket's got a new blanket.
Blanket of leaves. They are not quite plant, animal, or fungus. They are seemingly all three at once. These masses lay dormant forever. They pop up even in Caelumvale on rare occasion.
Really?
Yes, mostly on topside, but sometimes even down by the docks.
Oh, I don't like that. That's too close to home.
Usually popping in and out of existence. Frustrating force these things are.
I can imagine. I'm just kneeling down and poking at this thing with my knife, like cutting little pieces off of it, just seeing the inside of it, just investigating and see if I see anything interesting on how it's made up. See if there's some strange source of magic or something within it. As we know of shards, I've noticed any other source of what brought this thing to obviously unnatural life.
Finding a source of magic or empowerment or creation for these individual spontaneous bursts, just this obvious, unnatural tumor-covered mass. Looking through it, it doesn't seem to be anything that would explain its creation. But if you think, perhaps you... You think Hesha would have ever heard any tales or legends about Wild Font? It is a rather well-known thing. But in terms of okay, then yeah, give me.
She knows a decent amount of the sort of the stories of the bad shit beyond the wall. She'd hear from other members of the watch that take up the wall of basically, don't fucking go out there because there's this and this and this out there. So she would know. Never experienced one herself though. Always wanted to have a look at one of these things.
Okay, then give me a history or arcana check.
Well, arcana that up.
Ooh.
I rolled a thing.
Winning.
Yeah, kind of just like looking through it and just like looking at the flesh or matter that comprises it, and just thinking back to the various like stories about wild fawn and just the different appearances that it can take. And like some people have said that they look like, sometimes they've seen like people made of like trees and branches and just like almost like wooden, like basically big trees with legs just walking through the forest and things like that. It all seems to lead back to this crazy uncontrollable growth that seems to just spread out from the God's Peak Mountains. Every legend says that this life came about from two forces of nature, or perhaps some call them gods, some call them forces of nature. Other people refer to them, the more magically inclined, call them elementals that were almost in constant conflict with one another. But in the climax of their conflict, as one slew the other, the life that it seemed to contain within itself spread throughout the besieged cliffs. And there are a host of legends that come back and point to these two forces, the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. This seems to be the root of everyone's folklore about anything magical in the besieged cliffs. There are stories about the crystal, there are stories about the wildfire. It all seems to come back to this. And looking at this horrible creation, fighting it, seeing the way that it just appeared and disappeared and seemed to change rapidly, the stories seem to check out.
It's an interesting thing. That's always madness of sorts can create such things as the lighthouse. It's interesting. But exactly where did you come from, little thing? What gave you such ferocity in your life? I love it. I sort of poke and prod at it a little bit more. Not really expecting to find anything, but just enjoying the experience of just getting to witness one of these things for the first time.
So this is what you meant when you were scared of the cows being taken?
Indeed, wild font is much more prevalent out here, and the closer you get to the mountains. As Nada just seems to kind of like squat down as you like poke and prod at this thing, and he just seems to kind of grab on to the end of it and just put up another vial, not too different from the one that you drank from, and just sort of force and squeeze the weird sort of red fluid out of it and into this vial.
Oh, look at that. Do you mind? As I take the vial that Nada gave me, not asking Nada for for permission, but more Shepherd. May I?
He just like he has 4 arms, and they all just kind of like just brush off the idea of it. Just go ahead.
Wonderful. That's
evident.
I'll fill it up with some goop as well.
You have to add a bit of alcohol and let it ferment for a day or two, but you find it is quite rejuvenating after that.
Wonderful. Thank you for the lesson. I look forward to such things.
right, and then having searched the second tentacle quite thoroughly, give me another d20 roll. Bomber.
D20.
Monsieur Beaumer.
Nope.
Nothing of note, just more bits and pieces. Random creatures attached to things.
Slurp, 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 crunch? Slurp, slurp, slurp.
Yeah, and then give me another d20 roll if you're going to search this one as well. Nope. You do find the right hand.
Oh, there's nothing on the right hand.
But
You know she was married. Oh no.
a little bit too late.
They're probably both dead. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll cut this one open.
give me another d20 roll. No.
Damn, I'm just consistent.
Glad I increased the DC with each search, but alright. These things just shrivel up and just seem to lose the fluid that is within them to the air around them as they begin to quickly decay and almost sort of fall to not dust, but they seem to just kind of just become faster and faster, discolored, going to from a dark emerald green to a pale light green to almost a gray, as they seem to just become ash before your eyes. Let's get out of here. Bird just kind of makes his way back through the thicket.
Very well. Another, you certainly are a lifesaver. Thanks you.
Of course. Anything I can do to help. As he just seems to just take the praise and the compliment with just the biggest smile on his face. He just looks so happy and just so happy to be here, and everyone's okay. And okay, let's get out of here. He just seems to sort of spring back through the thicket, quite happy and content with himself.
I just put his vial in my backpack.
Save you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I take my new little blanket and I just sort of wrap it around my neck like a cloak and drag behind me as I'm walking, trying to brush off the headache, the nearly deadly headache that I suffered.
This cricket comes out with, it seems like a cloak of leaves on his back, rather thick and kind of squishy leaves, kind of like aloe leaves maybe would be like a similar kind of consistency.
My whole body's numb now.
You all come back to the road. You see Vul standing there with the 5 cows, seemingly lashed together now so that they can move more easily as a group and keep them all together. What happened to the 6th one?
The ground ate it.
The tentacles dragged it to the ground. There was too many.
I don't know. I mean, I saved my cow.
Your cow had 1.
But I still saved it.
Do not worry, Bull. Before it was pulled away, I was able to get something off of it. No, I'm just kidding. I did not. It is gone forever.
Yes, I apologize on behalf of my group that we couldn't rescue the last cow.
Each one of those crystals is worth at least 10 GP. Let's not lose any more.
Cricket just immediately turns around and starts walking back. So where we sitting, the dirt?
Oh, Cricket, out here and you have forgotten your shovel.
Oh, my shovel! Oh. Didn't know we needed a shovel. Someone should have told me. I just come back pouting. Oh.
Fine. Well, I'll just get away from this place. My forest clears up further down the road, and we can all take a rest.
Very well.
You press on further down the road, back towards Caelumvale, and after about an hour or so, you seem to be clear and away from any sort of groups of trees and things you can't quite see. As you can see, there's a much more cleared out plains and meadows that are much more even and easy to see across. Not too different from like the Windows XP default background. And
green hills and blue skies as far as the eye can see.
The giant XP.
Yep, giant XP off in the distance, floating in the clouds. And you can see, the city of Caelumvale off in the distance, its walls just now becoming visible, and the great beacon atop of it easily seen from this distance. As you press on, and you're able to, if you'd like, to take a quick breather and rest your feet and take a short rest, as Vul seems to be inclined to as well. Seems he got into some sort of trouble getting the cows all back together.
Oh, my friend Vul, what has happened to you?
Blasted cows ran across the road and back over onto the other side, and then ended up getting covered in these horrible green puff cloud things. Each time I killed one, it just seemed to explode in my face.
Yeah, they do that.
Uh-huh. You managed to fend him off all by yourself. Wonderful.
I didn't seem to have a whole lot to them, but...
It is wonderful to see you all right.
Still need to recover a bit as well. Alright. Shall we set camp?
Oh no. It's just an hour or so. I don't have time to set camp. It's only maybe about 2 or 3.
You have still plenty of time in the day.
If anyone needs a short rest, you can take one.
If I remember right, we can only use hit dice on long rest?
No, you can use them on both.
Oh.
You got the healer's kit.
Oh. I have one of those.
Do you need aid, Bomber?
I mean, that should be A-okay.
Very well.
If you say so.
Alright.
So we just like all huddled in a group? Or is it like we're still at our individual places?
If you want to stop on the side of the road and catch your breath for a bit, then yeah, they'd come up to, they'd bring you coalesce together. But if you're just going to press on, then you can go back to your normal places where you're walking at.
I'm just gonna take the bone out of my backpack and just start nibbling the rest of the little giblets off, try to clean it as best I can with my disgusting little teeth. That's all.
I'm pressing forward, I guess, another hour or 2. It seems to be getting into the late afternoon, as it seems Vul is up in front with you all now, as Nada and Shepard are tending to the sides and rear. Seems to be a lot easier to maneuver these guys now that they're all lashed together. and you seem to be coming up on, it looks like maybe like a fork in the road, with just some trees and things around it. Fork that has the side, mind you, just a different one. As you can arrange yourself however it is you'd be walking, cows are basically just behind you.
Oh, this looks like one of them there roads that's more than one.
They seem to connect to singles, though. No need to backtrack, do we, there, fool? I'm certain that you know the ways, yes?
It's called a fork in the road, by the way, Cricket.
I don't see no fork, it's only got two. And it's all bendy. Forks don't bend like that.
I mean, bad forks do.
Well, then why would they call it a fork if it's a bad fork? It's a bad example. They call it like a squiggly thing, like a pair of legs.
It's a bad fork in the road.
A squiggly thing in the road. I like it.
What? Seems we'll be following this path anyways. The other path seems to veer off to the... I'm assuming that this map is following the compass. Left is east or west.
Yeah.
Oh, it's west.
West. The legendary direction.
Where is that path?
Actually, left is east in this case. So you're actually traveling south.
Oh.
Yeah.
Went north to Onyxa on the flats, up the besieged coast. So you like hung a left from the coast itself and went up.
Well, all right. Go see where this bad fork goes. Oh, look, it's one road. This is a bad fork.
Coming around the corner of the fork there, Cricket and Ophelia. You can hear, sounds like something moving overhead, and something seems to swoop down from the trees and come and almost seems to past the trees. It's quite evident what it is. An airship.
A duck. Oh, airship.
And duck.
Oh, hello!
The fuck is that?
I guess you've seen airships.
I've seen one of those.
Oh, it's like landing and cutting us off?
And cut you off. Somebody, the guy at the helm seems to peer over the side of the vessel at you all, and he can't help but smile, as that is where we'll end tonight's session.
Dun dun dun!
As the right hand goes behind my back and the magic circle starts to appear.
Session. Spring begins to cast fireball.
As I cast Meteor Swarm on the entire area.
Good shit.
Level 2. Level 2.
Never gonna happen.
They tried to pop my brain. I don't want my brain to be popped.
And holding off the horrible wild font, taking just a quick moment to catch your breath thereafter, I guess. I mean, did you guys take a short rest or not? I was trying to give you a short rest.
I took the short rest.
Yeah, I mean, we took one, I just didn't use my hit die.
I ain't got any hit die left. I got it on the end of a long rest and I use it immediately. Let him do Forgot to do the cheesy thing.
Take the short rest, take the long rest.
As you manage to save one cow.
The other one is in a better place.
In the ground.
So is the crystal, probably. In crystal heaven. Shard heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's gonna come across that and feel real lucky.
And some XP bonuses for roleplay.
Boom, 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 boom.
Ba-da-ba-bum.
Punching people and missing. That's what happens sometimes.
So let's see, for the total for that combat, 1,000 plus the saved cow. That's another 5 plus. No, there's no other bonuses there, so that's the total. And then add percentage. So 5 from John, 5 from Brendan, and 2.5 for the rest. And 62 extra experience. 5. Did I do that right? No, I didn't. That's way too much. Divided by 5. You each gain 352 experience.
Alright.
Jesus fucking Christ. How's that math?
352, so that's 512.
I got 160. Plus 350, that's 4, that's 512, yeah.
Over the course of your short rest, kind of taking a moment to kind of breathe, as you kind of feel a bit of invigoration, as do the rest of you, as you should hit level 2.
Atlanta.
Going into this next encounter at level 2.
Oh yeah.
In the middle of the day.
Somehow.
Good old breather.
How do you want to do health for leveling up in the middle of stuff?
You leveled up at the end of the short rest, so I mean, you can roll the hit die if you want to.
I guess, like,
does our max hit go up but our current does not? Or does it go up by a percentage of what we had? Or is it just, you just, don't have what you were missing? It's like I'm down 1 health. Should I now be down 1 health? Or should I be down like 9 health if I gain 8? I don't know what I'm going to gain. But...
Be down the amount of HP that you are already down off your max.
All right.
Okay.
So treat it as though you healed to full, and then just subtract whatever damage you had.
How much health do I get?
Are we doing roll +1?
Correct, Mundo.
May as well.
It's
Hey.
been stolen from Brendan forever.
Oh, Ophelia got slightly higher than average. Nice.
I failed.
Ooh.
Good fucking roll.
Yeah. I'm not rolling for health because I'm a big old pay. But I
No, you
get an
have to
extra.
roll to roll. If you don't roll, we won't like you anymore.
But I'm taking my 8 health, suck it.
It just seems like they're getting the shit kicked out of him. Crick gets a little tougher now.
Yeah. 2 sessions, going down twice. Good job, Cricket. We always believe in you. Almost had me. I was at 1.
Tank MVP.
All have made it through 3 sessions and leveled up as this mysterious and not too kind looking air skiff descends in front of you. We'll have to see where that goes next week, next Wednesday, as we are not having a session on the 5th. But I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy our wonderful cast of very interesting characters, and hopefully the very interesting world that seems to be building up around them as they head back home. We are on for Song of Rapture this Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and we are on for The Expanse this Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So I certainly hope to see you all back again for those sessions. And I want to thank Lockin3. Thank you so much for following and for joining the Pride. I hope to see you on other streams, and SC2 Art. I hope to see you as well going forward. So thank you both so much for following, and until next time, may your dice roll 20s and you always make your saves.
You missed one, Jordan.
Did I miss one?
Yeah.
Oh, Fist of the Walrus. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. It's an awesome name. Fist of the Walrus.
I was gonna let him miss you. Don't
Yeah,
worry about it. I got you, buddy.
Thank you, Brendan.
Got you back.
Thank you so much for following Fist of the Walrus. Sorry I missed you there. Be sure to tune in this Friday and this Sunday. Thank you all so much for being here. And until next time, it's been Lion and Gaming.
Toodles! Later!